It is now officially 7 p.m. I'd like to go ahead and call to order this regular city council meeting for Monday, March 13th, 2023. If we could say the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Lanyon.
Present.
Pratt.
Here.
Jenkins. Van Allsburg.
Here.
Rhines.
Here.
Gilroy.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
We have had notification from Mr. Jenkins that he will not be here this evening, so I would entertain a motion to excuse his absence.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have
Second.
support? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now I'm looking for approval of this evening's agenda as submitted, unless there are changes that need to be noted. Yes.
Just in the reference on 8D to the ordinance amendment,
Yes.
it is to revise Articles 2, 6, and 12.
Oh, 2, 6. Thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate that. I am looking for a motion to approve the agenda with the
As
changes.
amended.
As amended.
Has changed, yes.
All right, thank you. Do I have support?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Now we have an opportunity for audience participation with a maximum of 5 minutes per presentation. If there's anybody that would like to come forward at this time. All right, moving right along. We're going to go to our council meeting minutes of February 27th, 2023. I'm looking for a motion to approve unless there were changes that need to be made.
So moved.
Thank you so much. Do I have support?
Second.
Thank you both. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And now, Brandon, do you have an opportunity to review accounts payable?
I did. So a few questions, and City Manager Hannafin was gracious enough to answer them. So I will make a motion to approve checks 76524 through 76557, ACH 385 through 404, for a total of $685,347.63.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Does anyone have any questions regarding accounts payable? Or if not, I'm looking for support for the motion.
Second.
Thank you both. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Van Allsburg.
Yes.
Rhines.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Lanyon.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Moving right along into our action items. Our first action item this evening is the Red Cedar Jubilee application and permit for sale and consumption of alcohol in the Howard Dahlstrom Park and the Liquor Control Commission resolution application. So I will go ahead and turn that over to Holly. Your memo.
Yes. The Red Cedar Jubilee every year has to ask for permission from council to serve alcohol in Howard Dahlstrom Park. And they have filled out all of the necessary permits and applications for that. They also need to file with the Liquor Control Commission to get a liquor license for their beverage and food tent.
All right, excellent.
So they are here tonight to get that application approved.
All right, Dan, go ahead.
This application, this is kind of the first step. This has to get approved and then it can be filed with liquor control after this. Comes here, police department gets their crack at it, and then from there it moves on to liquor control. Just for, as most of you know, I serve as an officer on the Jubilee Committee.
All right. Thank
So
you
the
much.
Liquor Control Commission has to approve it?
Yes.
Yes.
And this happens every year?
Yes,
Standard procedure?
yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So it looks like we have two motions before us, so if someone would like to, oh, Tim, did you have?
It's just that the Liquor Control Commission grants a special license.
Mhm.
So you have to have a liquor license to approve it, to serve alcohol. And separately, you need permission from the city to use the park.
Okay, so it's two things.
Yep.
Okay.
So there are two motions at the bottom of Holly's memo, so I'm looking for that first motion.
Make a motion to approve the application and permit for the sale and consumption of alcohol at Howard Dahlstrom Memorial Park, dates 21-24 June 2023.
Thank you so much. Do I have support?
Second.
All right, thank you. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Rhines.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Lanyon.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Van Allsburg.
Yes.
All right, I'm looking for that second motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Liquor Control Commission resolution application for special license for the Red Cedar Jubilee.
Thank you so much, Tom. Do I have support?
Second.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanyon,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Van Osberg.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to our next action item, we have well 9 cleaning and pump replacement. And Scott, I will turn it over to you.
All right, in your council packet is a memo explaining what's going on with well number 9. We were experiencing some decrease in the amount that it could output to our system. Last year, we were doing some investigations, and a check valve broke, so we had to fix that. And then, while this was going on, we also had an emergency repair that we had to do at well number 10 here recently. And the motor had gone bad at well number 10. So that became a very urgent situation since well 9 was already reduced capacity. We were getting into less than our firm capacity for requirements, so we had well 10 fixed. As soon as we were done with that, we had Northern come over and pull the pump so that we could do some downhole camera work. Northern's been working with us on our wells. They did some projects with us in the last few years, and they've been the lowest bidder on these. And we found that indeed probably the check valve leaking backwards, some of the partially treated water makes the growth happen in the rock hole. So we need to do a cleaning on that and get that cleaned out so we can get it back to the regular production level again. When they pulled the pump, they took it back to the shop, cleaned things up, found that there was enough wear on several of the parts that we would either need to rebuild the pump, which is almost half the cost of a brand new, and not have near as much life left in it. So weighing all the factors, our recommendation is that we should probably replace the pump at this time and get the longest life cycle out of all this work. If you do a partial rebuild on the pump, and that you have to pull the pump again in 2 or 3 years, there's a lot of cost in pulling and resetting that pump. So it's not just the cost of the pump, it's also the installation and removal costs that go along with it. So.
Thank you, Scott, very thorough, I appreciate it. I'm looking for a motion, the requested
Good
action.
question. Is
Yes.
there cash in the budget for this, or is this a special item, or?
Actually, we prepare in our CIP budget every year that we're gonna be having to do some work to the wells. We just don't know which one for sure, and this one,
Okay, so you don't have to pass the hat and pony up?
no.
Got cash in the, okay, good.
The check valve's fixed now though, so there's not gonna be any more
The
backflow?
check valve is fixed now.
Okay.
What we suspect is that it had been seeping water back for quite some time before it actually broke,
Yeah,
and that's probably what led to the reduced capacity.
okay.
Is that something that we'll check on all the other pumps? Do those
The other
pumps have
pumps are a
check valves?
different scenario.
Okay.
There's a
Alright.
different type of setting in them and different valves.
Okay, Scott, you had a
Is
question?
Northern Pump and Well your normal go-to place? Is that-
They are.
Okay, I like that, because it's local, right?
It is the Lansing area.
Cool.
And they've been doing our annual testing on all of our wells. We hire them to come in and pump each well so that
Okay.
we can see if our production is starting to go down.
How many
That's how we
wells,
discovered there was an issue coming up.
how many wells does the city of Williamston have?
5.
5.
Well number 10 is our largest. Well number 9 is our second largest.
Okay.
All right, excellent. All right, if there's no other questions for Scott, I'm looking for that motion that is before us on the memo.
Make a motion to approve proposals for well 9 cleaning and pump replacement for Northern Pump and Well Inc. of Lansing, Michigan for an amount up to $25,000, not to exceed.
Thank you, Brandon. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you both. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanyon,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our next action item, we have appointment of Tim Ludwig to the Planning Commission for a term to expire 6/30 of 2024. Mr. Ludwig was in attendance at our last Planning Commission meeting. He was very eager to become involved in city, and we have his application before us.
Make a motion to appoint Tim Ludwig to the Planning Commission.
Thank you so much. Do you have support?
Second.
Thank you. Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Lanyon,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes. And that brings planning commission up to full seats, which
Yes.
is very important. We've got a lot of business coming forward that commission is going to be needing to handle, so I appreciate his willingness. Our last action item is a first reading of ordinance to amend the City of Williamston zoning ordinance to revise Articles 2, 6, and 12 as to residential uses in the C1 district. This is a first reading. At our next council meeting, we will have the second reading. The council meeting after that, we will take action. I'm gonna ask either John or Brandon just to go over this briefly because of the planning commission meeting and everything.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So, thank you, Gilroy, members of council.
Yes.
So what we have today is the first reading to amend Articles 2, 6, and 12. The planning commission did advertise and held a public hearing on the proposed amendments. To paraphrase the amendments, it would allow ground floor dwelling units in the C1 in the C1 district as a principal permitted use, but only in a small subsection of that district, and that would be in section 2, number 8, in the C1 district, ground floor dwelling unit are only permitted on North Putnam Street and must maintain an entrance on North Putnam Street. Entrances to ground floor residential dwelling units are not permitted along Grand River. And then the rest of the amendments are cleanup language. Mr. Brown's here. He was also, he's our attorney of record for planning commission. He can answer any questions you may have. The public hearing did have testimony, both for the amendment and one against, but I thought it was a good meeting and there was a good discussion, and staff certainly recommends approval of the amendment. And the second reading would be placed at the next meeting, and then it can be adopted at that meeting. We wouldn't have to wait till another meeting.
Thanks for that clarification, Tim.
And I guess the only thing that I will add from planning commission is that the discussion was long. This has been a long process on this building. Planning initially approved and has been working on this building in this new development, adding the second floor and then the space. It was discovered through the process that there was a fire code that would alter the requirements of the building should it have a split use, which is why it's now moving to this new layout. And so planning commission did make the motion to move this forward with the recommendation of approval.
Questions? Yes, Dan?
You stated that at the planning commission meeting, there were folks that were both pro and against the, it sounds like most people were pro, but what were the arguments against this?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, there was one, it's a public meeting, so Willow, who, as we know, has a number of retail establishments. He wasn't necessarily against it, he just is more for having more retail in the district.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just as a comment, I was impressed with the turnout. I thought it was surprising that there were that many people that were interested, and it was very positive, so this is gonna be a good thing. Just a
Tom.
comment.
So this amendment, if passed, would only affect just this one dwelling, or is it that whole
The
corner?
small section, so if you're looking at North Putnam, and please jump in if I'm misstating this, but it's the place that would have an entrance on North Putnam, which is very few, it's a minimal number of places, right?
So,
And so like it's this place and then maybe one on the other side.
so like the old stoplight video would be included, and that could be turned into residential dwelling if this were to pass, is that,
On the first floor, yes.
okay?
Or
Is it
like
the smoke shop
where
there?
Wilkins was, there
Yeah, the
used to be the
Wilkins.
barber shop down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Places like that, the main
Yeah.
Grand River corridor wouldn't.
Yeah, all Grand River is excluded.
Yeah.
It's just this one
Just-
small section
Yeah.
there.
I mean, there is the entrance to the apartment buildings that are second floor and above on the old Wilkins building on that back side, but yeah, theoretically, there could be 4 first floor entrances. But this is for one particular address right now, but it would open it up to that.
But, so there's one address that's driving this, but we're
Yes.
doing it
Right.
for like, any
Yeah,
buildings that
qualify.
would qualify with the things that are within
Yep.
the ordinance.
Is that both sides of Putnam, then the apartment building and the other
Yes.
side, okay?
And at the visioning meeting that we had, where it sounds like the city is kind of desperate for more residential places, so this improves that.
Yes, Scott?
Yeah, I can't tell you how excited I am to see the city working to help people do stuff. When someone wants to do something of interest that's good for the city and the rules are in the way, and the city takes the time to alter the rules, I can't tell you how much in favor of that I am.
I think it's a good thing, but I also think that we want to try to maintain the integrity of our downtown district for what is a majority of, you know, business, service, industry. So, you know, this is the first step towards helping that situation out, but I just think that we always need to keep that in mind too, that, you know, our downtown area first floor, you know, businesses are businesses. I don't know what that would look like in the future if this were to set a precedence.
Yeah, we don't view this like expanding into South Putnam or the outskirts of Grand Rivers downtown, or this would kind of be a one-time situation.
All right, so with the first reading, we have, I think we have to have a motion to approve the first reading.
Make a motion to approve the first reading.
Thank you so much. Do I have
Second.
support? Thank you. Holly, will you call the roll?
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanyon.
Yes.
All right, moving along to our discussion items, we have our road diet, and do we have an update?
Yeah, so, at the last meeting, we said that it went to MDOT for their comments. Comments came back.
Yes.
Not too bad as far as comments go. There's a few modifications they would like us to do, and we've worked with Spicer on that. They're making some modifications. There's one little thing we're gonna talk about, and that's the crosswalks in the four corners there. Their recommendation back was to keep with the two stripes, and we want to still push forward with the continental style, which is the bar type. So that discussion will, you know, go a little further with MDOT.
Okay.
But we hope to have this wrapped up pretty soon and be ready to start taking it to the public.
All right, excellent. Forward progress. Thank you, Scott.
Did that conversation with MDOT have anything to do with the left turn lanes or any of the other stuff that we are hoping for, we're waiting on them to see?
The plan shows left turn lanes.
Good.
Okay.
Excellent.
And they
For
were
the
okay
left
with
turn
it?
signal,
Yeah, what's that?
And the left turn signal?
The left turn signal's not on the striping plan. That's a
Is
signal.
it a separate
That's a
issue?
separate-
Okay.
That's a separate issue.
Okay. Dan?
If I'm correct, MDOT's aware of our desire for that, but they want us to do this
Correct.
first and then show that we still need it and for them to move forward with that.
Correct.
Cool.
Yes.
do you see any
Jerry?
problems with accepting the continental style? I would think that our safety record, which isn't really good, promotes something dramatic.
Well, fortunately, we don't have any kind of major injuries or deaths.
Right,
Unfortunately,
Right.
there's a lot of close calls.
right.
Yeah.
So that's our point back, is that there's a lot of close calls.
Yes, John?
John?
So typically the resistance to that, because those crosswalks on Grand River are theirs, that would be
Right.
part of their painting plan.
Mhm.
But if it came to it, I know it's a public meeting, we can spring for the extra $42 in paint annually.
Yeah.
Pass
Okay,
it
all
on.
Let's do it,
right,
yeah.
great,
We can do
But
that.
that's really, that's what the barrier is, it's being part of their maintenance.
Okay.
sure.
I dealt with the exact same issue in a prior community.
All right. Well, it's.
And it is about $42. That's adjusted for inflation.
We have-
Sure.
Paint, wet, fires, and.
Well, wait a minute.
We have that in the budget though? We have
Yeah.
$42, okay,
Yeah,
good.
all right. Brushes or rollers?
It's only $6 a person for the council.
Okay, sure, we
I'll
can get right
take
up
care of
there. Yeah, me too.
Collecting cans.
I got a
too,
question
collect
that's
hands. Yeah, Tom.
slightly off topic, but concerning this, and it may have been covered and I just don't remember, but when it finally comes time to repaint, what process are they doing for the condition of the road? 'Cause I know there's some areas that are pretty rough right now. Are they planning on just painting over what's currently there? Are they gonna seal coat or what?
They,
plan?
annually they come through and the last few years they've been doing like a spray on chip material
Mhm.
through the cracks and things like that. And it helps fill the voids that are there,
Yeah.
because the cracking that's going on is a little more than just simple cracks.
Yeah, some of it's pretty nice.
We haven't heard from MDOT as far as their long-term pavement rehabilitation plan for that. I'm anticipating that something's probably gonna be in the works in the next few years, because they just did, you know, just to the west of town here. To get right to the point of what are they gonna do, they'll have to grind off the existing lines that are there.
Mhm.
They can't just paint them black,
Right.
it has to be ground off. And then they'll be restriped in the proper location. As far as surface repairs go, that kind of is an independent thing, but
Yeah, okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the update, and I'm so glad to see that it's still continuing to move forward in a positive fashion. So look forward to another update from you once you hear back from MDOT. We did not receive any correspondence, so I'm going to jump right ahead to our department head reports. And John?
Just a couple of, I guess, verbal updates. We have started some of the construction activities on North Putnam. You noticed some of the tree work. DTE should be moving poles pretty quickly, as soon as spring shows up in a day or so. So there's that. We do have a DDA meeting next week. We'll be talking about some of the preliminary budget things for that. And just a reminder, we have a number of council meetings before that, but we are going to have a utility rate discussion at the second meeting in April, which I think is the 24th, but don't quote me on that. I'll be here either way, or it's the 20-something. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much.
How many meetings will we have on that rate increase thing? Just the one, or?
Well, we'll have a discussion at the April meeting about rates in general. And we've talked before about the possibility of a wastewater rate increase, but we will have our budget hearings as well, and I'll be part of that, and those will be in May. So at least 3. And then 4 if you include the public hearing for the budget.
Excellent, thank you so much. Any questions for John? All right, we did receive our Livingston County Building and Safety Engineering report with activity that is going on. I'm sure that as we start moving into warmer weather and spring is around the corner, the frost laws have come off the roads. We'll see a lot more construction, a lot more going on, so I always appreciate the report to see what's happening. If you have any questions, you can contact John and he will get those answered for you. Moving along, we've got our committee subcommittee reports. Would anybody like to share from any of their boards or commissions that they've attended?
We had a NISA meeting.
Okay.
Probably the only thing substantial was the official hiring of a new deputy chief, which was Mr. Don Drent, who I've known quite well for well over a decade, and he is very vast in fire service. He's made his entire career in it, from military firefighting through airports and training schools, and he'll be an asset.
Nice.
So
Great.
happy to have him.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else from their boards or commissions?
Yeah,
Yes.
planning met, obviously we had our North Putnam project that we were discussing. We also had a meeting on the Ice House. Just planning had their first review of that, which went well. So both these projects seem to be progressing forward, so hopefully we'll have some, new developments happening in the city soon.
Great, thanks. Anyone else? I'm gonna jump back to Scott because Scott, DPW wasn't on here, but is there anything else that you'd like to share besides the fact that we're doing a pump replacement?
Just going on with the snow that continues to, who puts a quarter in a snow machine?
I'm
Stop
not me.
it.
I do not take the snow globe. I do not have any loose change.
So that's, yeah, there's that. We're getting ready for the spring cleanup stuff that goes on.
All right, excellent, thank you. All right, audience participation, and in case there's anybody out there that would like to come forward. Go right ahead.
My name is Renee Leone, and I'm a sole member of the 114 in Putnam W LLC for 114 North Putnam. And I just wanted to be here in case you had any questions or wanted to ask me about the project, that's all.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you for being here this evening, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I'll go around the table with council member comments. I'll start with Dan tonight.
No comments.
All right, Scott?
I'm all set.
All right, Brandon?
Nothing?
Terry?
Looking forward to seeing that building working there on North Putnam. It's been in that construction state for quite a while, and it'll be good to see it finished.
Tom?
No comments from me, thank you.
All right, great. I will go ahead and adjourn this evening or I need a motion to go into closed session, and then I will call for an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Thank you so much.
Second.
Thank you for support.
You need to cite a reason.
Oh. We're going into closed session for the city manager performance review.
Now you need to.
Amend that, please.
Sorry. As amended, so
As
moved
amended.
as amended.
Second.
All right, thank you so much. We have to roll call. All right,
Yeah.
all right, all in favor?
No.
No, just roll call.
Oh, roll call.
Lanyon,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Van Osper,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes. All right. Okay, I'd like to go ahead and take us back into open session at 7:49. There was no action to be taken from closed section, so I will go ahead and call to adjourn City Council's regular meeting at 7:49.